Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we are exploring one of the most incredible engineering achievements ever built for the world's oceans, the legendary Pierre Guillaumat. This massive oil tanker was not just another ship. It was one of the largest vessels ever constructed, designed to transport enormous amounts of crude oil across the world's busiest sea routes. Even decades after it was built, the Pierre Guillaumat remains a symbol of ambition, innovation, and the incredible power of marine engineering. The Pierre Guillaumat was built in France and launched in 1977 during an era when the global demand for oil was rapidly increasing. Oil companies wanted larger ships that could carry more cargo in a single voyage, reducing transportation costs and improving efficiency. Named after Pierre Guillaumat, a famous French politician and industrial leader, this giant tanker represented the peak of supertanker development. At the time of its launch, it was among the biggest ships ever created by humans, measuring approximately 414 meters in length. To put that into perspective, it was longer than 4 international football fields placed end to end. Its enormous size immediately attracted worldwide attention, proving that shipbuilding technology had reached a completely new level. Looking at the exterior of the Pierre Guillaumat is truly breathtaking. The ship features a long, streamlined hull designed to maximize cargo capacity while maintaining stability in rough seas. Its massive steel body stretches across the ocean like a floating island, creating an unforgettable sight wherever it sails. The towering bridge sits high above the deck, providing officers with an excellent view of the surrounding waters. The deck itself is filled with a complex network of pipelines, cargo valves, safety systems, and pumping equipment required for loading and unloading millions of barrels of crude oil. Unlike cruise ships that focus on entertainment and appearance, every part of the Pierre Guillaumat was designed for one purpose: transporting oil safely and efficiently over thousands of kilometers. The hull was specially engineered to withstand the extreme forces of the open ocean. Heavy-duty steel plates formed a strong protective structure capable of handling enormous cargo loads in harsh weather conditions. Even powerful storms and giant ocean waves could not easily challenge this engineering masterpiece. Despite its unbelievable size, the ship maintained impressive balance thanks to advanced ballast systems that carefully controlled weight distribution. Watching the Pierre Guillaumat move across the sea was an unforgettable experience because it looked more like a moving city than a traditional ship. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Pierre Guillaumat was its incredible cargo capacity. The vessel could carry well over 500,000 tons of crude oil, making it one of the largest oil transporters ever built. This enormous capacity allowed oil companies to transport huge quantities of petroleum in a single journey, significantly reducing operational costs. Giant cargo tanks filled most of the ship's interior, carefully separated into multiple compartments for safety and efficient loading. Powerful pumping systems transferred oil through massive pipelines at impressive speeds, allowing ports to complete loading and unloading operations much faster than older tankers. Safety was one of the biggest priorities during the ship's design. Numerous monitoring systems constantly checked cargo pressure, tank conditions, and pump performance. Emergency shut-off valves, fire suppression systems, and advanced communication equipment were installed throughout the vessel to protect both the crew and the environment. Even though environmental regulations were less strict than they are today, the Pierre Guillaumat represented one of the most advanced oil transportation systems of its time. Although giant oil tankers are built mainly for industrial purposes, the accommodation areas for officers and crew were surprisingly comfortable. Inside the living quarters, crew members had spacious cabins compared to many commercial ships of that era. Individual rooms included comfortable beds, desks, storage space, and proper ventilation to support long voyages lasting several weeks. Senior officers enjoyed larger cabins with additional workspace and private facilities. The dining room served fresh meals prepared by onboard cooks throughout each voyage. Since the crew often spent months away from home, maintaining good nutrition and morale was considered extremely important. Recreation rooms allowed sailors to relax after long working hours. These spaces often included televisions, books, card tables, and comfortable seating where crew members could socialize during their free time. The ship also featured laundry facilities, medical rooms, kitchens, storage areas, and workshops where engineers maintained machinery throughout the journey. The bridge served as the command center of the Pierre Guillaumat. From this elevated position, the captain and navigation officers controlled every aspect of the voyage. Large navigation windows provided excellent visibility across the ocean while advanced radar systems monitored nearby ships and changing weather conditions. Communication equipment connected the vessel with ports, shipping companies, and rescue services whenever necessary. Every decision made on the bridge directly influenced the safety of both the ship and its valuable cargo. Powering a vessel as enormous as the Pierre Guillaumat required one of the most impressive marine engines ever installed aboard a commercial ship. The tanker was equipped with a massive steam turbine propulsion system producing tens of thousands of horsepower. This enormous engine generated enough energy to move hundreds of thousands of tons of steel and oil across oceans for thousands of kilometers without interruption. Steam turbines were considered highly reliable for giant tankers during that period because they delivered smooth power and excellent long-distance performance. The engine room itself was a gigantic industrial complex located deep inside the ship. Massive boilers generated high-pressure steam that drove the turbine connected to an enormous propeller at the rear of the vessel. Engineers worked around the clock monitoring temperatures, pressure levels, fuel consumption, lubrication systems, and mechanical performance. Every component had to operate perfectly because even a small mechanical problem could affect a ship of this incredible size. The single giant propeller slowly pushed the tanker through the ocean with remarkable efficiency. While the Pierre Guillaumat was not built for speed, its steady cruising performance made it ideal for transporting massive quantities of oil over extremely long distances. Fuel efficiency, reliability, and endurance were always more important than high speed in the world of supertankers. Sailing the Pierre Guillaumat was a completely different experience compared to operating ordinary cargo ships. Because of its enormous dimensions and tremendous weight, every maneuver required careful planning. Accelerating from a standstill took considerable time, while stopping the ship required several kilometers due to its massive momentum. Turning also demanded patience because the ship responded slowly to steering commands. Captains needed extensive experience to safely navigate narrow channels, busy ports, and difficult weather conditions. Despite these challenges, the ship offered remarkable stability during long ocean voyages. Its massive size reduced rolling motion compared to smaller vessels, creating a smoother experience for the crew while crossing rough seas. Modern navigation systems, experienced officers, and skilled engineers worked together continuously to ensure safe and efficient operations throughout every voyage. The Pierre Guillaumat mainly operated on major international oil routes connecting oil-producing regions with refineries across Europe and other parts of the world. Every successful voyage demonstrated the importance of large-scale maritime transportation in supporting the global economy. Without giant oil tankers like this one, supplying energy to millions of people around the world would have been far more expensive and complicated. However, changing economic conditions eventually reduced the demand for extremely large tankers. The oil crisis, fluctuating fuel prices, and limitations at many ports made operating vessels of this size increasingly difficult. Many harbors simply could not accommodate ships as large as the Pierre Guillaumat because of draft restrictions and limited infrastructure. As a result, despite its extraordinary engineering achievements, the vessel had a relatively short operational career before eventually being retired and dismantled. Even today, the Pierre Guillaumat remains one of the most famous supertankers ever built. Marine historians, engineers, and ship enthusiasts continue to admire its incredible size and advanced engineering. It represents an important chapter in the history of global shipping, demonstrating how human innovation can overcome enormous technical challenges. The legacy of the Pierre Guillaumat lives on through modern tanker design. Many engineering concepts developed during its construction influenced future generations of commercial ships. Although today's tankers focus more heavily on environmental protection, fuel efficiency, and double-hull safety, they still reflect the lessons learned from pioneering giants like the Pierre Guillaumat. When people discuss the greatest ships ever constructed, the Pierre Guillaumat always deserves a place among the legends. Its extraordinary dimensions, enormous carrying capacity, powerful propulsion system, and remarkable engineering continue to inspire admiration decades after its final voyage. It proved that humans could design and operate floating structures on an almost unimaginable scale while supporting global trade and energy transportation. In the end, the Pierre Guillaumat was far more than just an oil tanker. It was a masterpiece of marine engineering, a symbol of industrial ambition, and one of the largest moving machines ever built. From its gigantic exterior and efficient crew accommodations to its powerful propulsion system and unmatched cargo capacity, every part of this vessel reflected the highest level of engineering excellence available at the time. Although it is no longer sailing across the world's oceans, its name continues to live in maritime history as one of the greatest supertankers ever created, reminding us that some ships are so extraordinary they become legends forever.